And you make a good point because as salespeople, don't we go into our reptilian brains? Well, I think the way to understand it is to look at the human brain and then think of yourself as a consumer, how you are. I think many people have had the training, or perhaps they haven't, on the triune theory of the brain. So I'm going to brush up on it for those who haven't heard about it. This was first brought to light by a gentleman named Paul MacLean. And the triune theory of the brain is also talked about in Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence. Dan Baker talks about it in What Happy People Know and What Happy Companies Know. And real quickly, what we learned from the triune theory of the brain is that all mammals have three parts to their brain. So we've got in our brain the reptilian brain, which is the fight or flight response. And you'll see how this makes sense in the sales process in just a minute. So when an animal gets into fear, that animal will fight or flee. Now, the reptilian brain has been around for hundreds of millions of years. This is how humans learn to adapt in the wild. If you think about it, if you're trying to survive, you're going to need that reptilian brain to kick in. What happens when we go into our reptilian brain is we actually have a physical change. So hormones are released like cortisol, adrenaline, all the blood, for example, will leave our organs and go into our muscles. We've all heard the story of the woman whose baby's underneath the car, and all of a sudden she's got superhuman power to lift up that car. That is the reptilian brain. And the important part about this, when we put it into the sales process, is that when you're in your reptilian brain, you're not using your creative self. You don't have access to the larger part of your brain or your neocortex. When an animal or a human is in fear, all they can do is fight or flee. And again, this is an adaptation that happened for our survival.
It's not particularly useful to lose all the blood in your brain if you're trying to sell.
Or if you're trying to buy. And you make a good point because as salespeople, don't we go into our reptilian brains? And so that's something always to consider.